Hey everyone, Rob, Lake Michigan Angler here. This morning we are aboard the Storm Force with Captain Blake and his first mate, Hunter. Today we're going to learn how one of the youngest charter captains in the fleet approaches salmon fishing in his own unique way.
My name's Captain Blake Keulen. I own and operate Storm Force Sport Fishing. I've been doing this since I was about 7 years old, and I'm 22 now. I grew up working for my dad, and then I ran a boat for Stellar Charters for 3 years, and this year I'm out on my own with my own business. And today we're out here with Mike and Rob from Lake Michigan Angler. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about how we do stuff. Out here we got a 200 copper with a RV crab face moonshine on it, and then here we got a 300 copper with a mini moonshine on it. That's been a good rod for us. And then we're running a 90-foot wire dipsy here with a kryptonite Stinger Dodger. And then we got a 61-foot rigger with a spoon on it, a moonshine spoon. And then we got a 400 copper out, Mike's favorite, with a RV green pounder. And then we're running a center rigger here with a chrome Dragon Slayer down 51. We'll probably switch that out as the sun comes up to like a chrome stubby. That's been a good one for us. And then we got a corner rigger here down 36. It's an orange stubby with an aqua slider. That one's been really good for us. And then we took our first fish on this one. It's a white E-chip with a white Howie out 81. That's been a good rod also. And then we got a 200 copper. It's got a yellow UV stubby on it. That one's been really good for the past couple weeks. And then here we got an 8-color, something up a little higher. That one's got a stubby on it also with a slider fly. Stubbies have been working really good for us lately. One thing I do a little bit different is I like running stubbies even not in the spring. I've caught a lot of kings, cohos, suspended lake trout on them. They're a really good dodger. You know, they do have their moments, but I like to at least have one in my spread at all times. They seem to produce almost every trip for us. I think it's just the action of them. We like to run them really tight to the ball because I troll a little slow, so it gives them a tighter rotation, and I think that helps. But if we're struggling with them tight, we will stretch them out, and then they work that way too, but I like them tight. They seem to produce a little better for me. We got a chrome stubby with a slider blue green gold. Lift the rod once, give it a little extra, hook it up. This one's going to be down about 72 feet. We're going to be targeting suspended lake trout, rainbows, and some kings on it. So when I decide I'm going to stretch a stubby back, it's if I see the current's really bad and I can't get the speed slow enough, I'll stretch them back further, and that'll give the Dodger a little bit of a wider rotation. And usually if we're not getting bites, we'll switch it up. We'll stretch it back, let's say 15 feet, and then if that's not working, we'll stretch it back even further, and then we'll bring it in a little bit. We just try different things and see how it works. We're hooked up here on a 300 copper. We're running a mini moonshine on this one. I got my first mate Hunter winching it in. I think the mini moonshines have been effective for us because we've been seeing a lot of smaller bait fish, you know, like those 2-3 inch alewives. And as soon as we started seeing those, we started running the mini moonshines, and they've been studs for us. Probably, I would say anywhere from 6 to 10 bites a trip, every trip for us. And we definitely never take them off the rod. We'll show it to you when we get it in. It's pretty beat up. This is that mini moonshine I was telling you guys about. As you can tell, it's chewed up and they've been eating it. You can see the bend in it. This rod just went off, guys. We're hooked up on a stubby. And I know Rob just got some in stock, so go get them while he's got them. They've been working good for us.
Hey guys, I'm Hunter, and I'm the first mate on a Storm Force. What I do is come out here, and me and Blake's at lines, and then I'm the guy that watches the rods and kind of changes stuff if nothing's really happening, and if there's not a rod that's really getting bit, we'll probably give it half hour, 45 minutes, then we'll switch it out.
All right guys, we just hooked up on an 8-color lead. We got a one of those red UV stubbies on it. That's been a really good one for us also. We probably had it on our rod for 2 weeks, I would say, and it's capable of probably 5 to 7 bites a trip. So I wouldn't necessarily put your stubbies away because it's, you know, the end of July here and we're still catching fish on them. I've caught a lot of nice kings on stubbies, a lot of nice rainbows, and some suspended lake trout. We're actually hooked up on an 8-color on a stubby right now. So we pretty much run them year round. All right, guys, we were just talking about it, and we just caught a king on the 8-color with the red UV stubby and a slider fly. Probably a nice 2-year-old king, I would call it. And we weren't lying when we said they catch kings. You want me to fight it up here? What, are you tired of fighting them? Oh, right there.
Oh, yep. There you go. Oh boy. Check out the board. Look, you're gonna have that one.
Here, it's rough.
Whoa.
Steelhead?
Way back there, yep. I don't know.
We'll flip him, baby. Small king?
No.
There he goes.
Turn the clicker off. Make sure you turn the clicker off.
Oh, my favorite's that
Pink, guys.
Oh, it's a, oh yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
All right, guys, we just had a 81-foot wire dipsy with a white E-chip and a white Howie go off, and we took this nice pink salmon here, and then we had a big steelhead take off on our 200 copper here that Mike's fighting.
Ready?
Big steely.
Nice.
Once again, we were just talking about not taking stubbies out of your spread too early, and we just caught this probably, I would say, 9-10 pound steelhead on a yellow UV stubby with a slider fly. All right, guys, we just hooked up on the 81-foot wire again. It's got a white E-chip on it with a white Howie. As I said in the podcast, I never take a white E-chip off this time of year. It stays on my rod. I change the fly, and that's it. Looks like we got a nice salmon on. I'm better at catching them than I am reeling them in. Here's the white E-chip. I mean, as soon as it turns about the middle of June, I put a white E-chip on a wire and never take it off. It's a consistent producer. All right, guys, we just hooked up on the 400 copper. We got the RV green flounder pounder on this one. We're gonna be here a while. All right, guys, we're hooked up here on a 300 copper. This is that mini moonshine again. It's fighting like a nice fish, really burying the board out there. We just caught a king, and as soon as we got it in the boat, we hooked up on the 300. Caught this probably another 9-10 pound steelhead on that mini moonshine. If you guys can tell, it's catching fish, and you guys got to get a hold of Rob and get them.
I didn't tell him to say that. I don't even have any more of those spoons. So far, we've had some really consistent fishing. Blake, when do you decide to start changing things up?
I usually decide to start changing things up, like say if we got a rod that maybe went a half hour, 45 minutes without a bite, but it was good earlier. If it goes about a half hour, 45 minutes without a bite, then we'll start changing it. You know, or we got a rod that's been dead for the first hour of the trip or 45 minutes, we'll change it. Or if fishing's really good, but we got a rod that's only getting 1 or 2 bites, we'll start changing it to try to get it to do like the 6, 7, 8, 9 bites, you know. And other than that, if a rod's getting, you know, if it's had 4 or 5 bites, I'll usually leave it and just keep running it, and as long as it keeps producing for us, we'll leave it out. 200 copper with the yellow UV stubby just took off again. Definitely probably caught, 75% of our fish on it today. Just hooked up on a 200 copper here. This one's got a moonshine spoon on it, the RV crab face. We're doubled up. Rob's got one on a stubby, and I'm hooked up on the moonshine spoon, both on 200 coppers.
Hey everyone, we're just finishing up our trip here with Storm Forest Sport Fishing. Big thanks to Captain Blake and Hunter for putting us on some really nice fish. We got some great steelhead, lake trout, kings, little everything today. If you want to book a trip with them, you can go to stormforestsportfishing.com. And if you need anything from us at Lake Michigan Angler, you can stop in the shop, give us a call at 224-789-7627, or check out lakemichiganangler.com.